fossil fuel fellow, fossil free fellow, and UMass Amherst student organizer.
Yeah.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I like kind of... Alright, cool. Hi everyone. My name is Varshini Prakash. I am a rising junior at UMass Amherst, and I'm a fossil free fellow with 350, but I'm also interning very closely with Better Future Project and have worked with them this entire summer. When Craig gave me a few options at the beginning of the summer for what I wanted to work on, Energy Exodus was one of them. And I knew immediately that that was the project that I wanted to work on. The project that would be the big event of the summer. It was huge, it was exciting, and this is our chance to make positive, upward change. Honestly, it's our chance to make history. The first national offshore wind farm in America. And we could make it happen. I don't think I really believe it right now, but it's finally coming to fruition after months and months of really hard work. So my chief role as an organizer for the march has been recruitment. Some of you may know me through my incessant emails and phone calls. My job is essentially making friends. Great, right? Yeah, best job ever. Especially because I love talking. I talk to people every day. I learn about their lives. I try to understand what motivates them, what inspires them, what and who they care about, basically who they are, where they are, and where they're going. It's a wonderful job. I'm grateful for the people I've met, the stories I've heard. I learn from stories personally. In fact, I'm convinced that's one of the only ways that I deeply learn and understand the world around me. The only way I can extricate what is valuable or beautiful, important, and necessary. It's how I grow. Like all of you, I'm sure, witnessing a world being pillaged by a for-profit industry has been sad, angering, and has ended in too many sleepless nights. Stories galvanize me to continue fighting for this planet. I want to take this time to share with you a few stories that have deeply inspired me this summer. My friend Sam Law is a fearless fighter of the fossil fuel empire. He's one of the most dedicated, hardworking folks I've ever met. Sam was raised in upstate New York, an area with rolling hills, fresh fruit in the summer, beautiful waterfalls, stretching farmland, basically the best place to grow up ever. Here's a piece of his story. I'm going to speak in the first person now. I am Sam. You can't hear me? Okay. When I was 16, before anyone knew what fracking was, or that we were living hundreds of feet above the Marcellus Shale, I started to notice the red survey flags of the Dominion pipeline appear in a nearby forest. I watched as the bulldozers cleared the right-of-way for the pipeline and built a large compressor station. I now recognize the Dominion pipeline as the vanguard of the fracking industry that wants to turn my community into a resource colony, forcing us to trade in our clean air, water, and land, the very things that sustain us, for a few bucks. This summer, like so many summers before this one, I went on walks in the woods, swam in clear rock pools carved out of shale, and ate food from nearby farms. But I know I can no longer count on these things being there next summer. Industry will stop at nothing to extract every last bit of coal, gas, and oil from the ground, not even pausing for a second to think about the communities poisoned in the process, or the death spiral that we are locked into as we continue to burn fossil fuels. That same company that will destroy the area where Sam lives has its own little facility here, actually right over there. It's called Brayton Point, and it's owned by the same Dominion Energy. As Sam has Dominion pipelines in his backyard threatening his livelihood, we have a Dominion power plant in our backyard threatening our livelihoods.
Yeah.
Sam's experience in New York, in his own community, in his own land, in his own organizations, have been shared with me through story. And now, through that connection, I have been mobilized to work here. Every time I think of Brayton Point, I think of his life. And every time I think of his life, I know that I'm not alone in this struggle. How many of you all were at Brayton Point? Let's hear it, let's hear it. Do you all remember Paula and Chuck? Yeah? All right, cool. For those of you who weren't able to be there, they're both members of Keepers of the Mountains, an organization that inspires people to work to end mountaintop removal and create really healthy mountain communities. The stories they tell are truly horrific. They speak of pure mountain water turning black and orange from chemicals, the mountains being blown apart by man-made explosive and gargantuan machines, of heritage, culture, and vibrancy being displaced and destroyed, of miners suffering from black lung, cancer, heart disease, and dying horrible, painful deaths. The coal we burn at Brayton Point, the coal we use, is taken from the blood of people in places like West Virginia, where mothers have to fight to protect basic rights like clean air and water for their children. And so their fight becomes intertwined with our own. I think of Brayton Point, I think of Paula and Chuck. And I know we're not alone in the struggle.
Yeah.
One last quick one. A few weeks ago, I was arrested across this river with 44 other people at the Brayton Point action. A week later, I went to court for my arraignment. One of the young women there was curious as to why there were 20 people all present for identical trespassing charges, and she approached us. One of the arrestees explained the action, talked about the power plant and its adverse health impacts, and the like. She thought about that for a second, and then said out loud that she was from Fall River, and that every single person in her family had asthma. Every single person, including herself. People are suffocating in the very air that we are breathing right now. How can this be thought of as a viable reality? How can it be thought of as a viable reality? As I hear each of these stories, they remain within me. I can't dislodge or forget them. Their stories expand and join with my own, until it wasn't just that I was fighting for them, but I was fighting for myself. I fight with Sam Law, I fight with Paula and Chuck, I fight with the woman from the court, whether she even knows it or not. I walk for those who cannot be here because economic oppression and racist institutions keep them from doing so. I walk today for and with any person who has, is, or will be affected because of climate change. I walk with dear friends. I walk for my brother, my mother, my father, my partner, my grandparents, extended family. People I could not conceive of a world without. These are the people I hold close to me, who have woven themselves into the fabric of my experience. I want you all to close your eyes for a moment and think about who you will walk for today. Who's that person or group or unidentified being? Real, imaginary, dead, alive. Who do you hold most dear? Who would you do anything for? Who is important enough to you that you would walk 70 miles in the middle of summer for? That you would sacrifice time and energy for if it meant a better future for them? The journey we embark on today will be long. It will be arduous and require resilience and a hell of a lot of tenacity. It can be scary having no knowledge of what the future looks like, but knowing that acting in the present is our only chance at a future. We face opposition, we face lies and propaganda, we face opulence working heavily on the side of an immoral industry. But we have an age-old power that has never failed to bring great change to a wicked system. We have the strength of our solidarity and the sureness of our step. We have wealth in story, in experience. We have boundless passion and indefinite empathy. Though we must face terrible enemies, we have the right to turn our backs on this industry and all it represents: injustice, greed, oppression, and walk towards a better future. We leave coal, gas, and oil, what remains of the fossil fuel pharaohs behind, and march onward to a destination symbolizing hope. I always keep the stories of others close by. Those stories are my sustenance and how I conceptualize the world. They're the one thing that can never be taken away from me. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that person in front of you one more time. The person that you walk for today.
Louder.
I want you to close your eyes and really think about that person that you are walking for today, until you see them really clearly in front of you. Now zoom out a little. Build, create, envision around that person. What gives them a better future? What allows them health, contentment, justice? Perhaps you see them surrounded by windmills and solar panels. Perhaps you see them drinking straight from a cool stream. Perhaps you see them joining hands in solidarity with a person of another race, class, ethnicity, sexual orientation. Whatever your vision of better is, create that around your person. And keeping your eyes closed, include yourself in this picture. Include the people to the left and the right of you, in front and behind. Include everyone. Keep this vision in front of you, the whole way, every single step of the way. It's really easy to lose sight of. I do it all the time. We said we're here to fight for Cape Wind. That's partly true. Cape Wind is just a piece of the puzzle. It's a hell of a lot greater than that. That vision that we hold inside all of us, that's truly what we walk toward today. We walk so we have a chance that someday, somehow, that vision will come to manifest itself. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to walk with you.